Hello everyone, welcome to the Cinema Analysis channel. I am Juzo. This channel will explore the hidden truths of films that are not usually revealed. Today, I would like to talk about Roma Holiday and The Equalizer. I want to discuss how these two films are in some ways similar. If you haven't seen them yet, I suggest watching them first. So let's get started. Filmmakers are said to put massive effort into the first 10 minutes of a film. This is also true for Roma Holiday. Its excellent opening immediately draws the audience into the story's world. One of the protagonists is Princess M, played by Audrey Hepburn. The film begins with newsreel footage covering her goodwill tour of Europe. The name of her country is never revealed, but she visits London, Amsterdam, Paris, and Rome, where she is warmly welcomed. As a royal figure, she appears dignified and composed. The setting then shifts to a formal reception and ball at the embassy. Here, the comedy begins. However, there is also a brilliant moment that hints at the film being more than just a comedy. As Princess Anne is escorted to the center of the ballroom by her country's ambassador, she attempts to sit down, but he stops her. This tactfully reveals that her social etiquette is not yet refined. She is still immature. This is a delicate and effective expression of her character. It is unclear whether this moment was scripted or directed in the moment, but it is an excellent piece of storytelling. She then remains standing for a while, shaking hands with guests in a long receiving line. As this drags on, she discreetly slips off her shoe under her skirt. She tries to put it back on, but she fails to do it when she finally had to sit down. A famous and memorable scene. What makes this scene remarkable is that it does more than just provide a comedic relief. It also serves as a clever way to make the audience empathize with the princess. Most viewers, being ordinary citizens, rarely relate to royal figures. They tend to see them as people living in a completely different world. However, by showing that royals too have imperfections, the film encourages the audience to think they are just human like us. After the ball, the scene transitions to the princess's bedroom. This scene is crucial. Anne distracts her nightgown and insists that she wants to sleep in pajamas. Her lady-in-waiting offers her milk and crackers, who's commonly given to children to help them sleep. Milk contains tryptophan, and the carbohydrates in cracker promote drowsiness. As she prepares for bed, she is informed of the next day's schedule. She is expected to visit the new foundling home for orphans. This detail is also significant. Her itinerary is packed with formal visits and speeches on trade relations. She is exhausted by the monotony of her daily routine, and she becomes visibly distressed. This moment emphasizes a key theme. Not only ordinary citizens, but even royal figures can grow weary of repetitive, predictable lives. This further deepens the audience's connection to the princess, making her feel more relatable and human. The doctor injects her with a sleeping drug and admonishes, "Best thing I know is to do exactly what you wish for a while." As she follows his advice, a huge problem arises. The princess escapes from the embassy by climbing onto the bed of a truck. On the street, she waves to a man and a woman on a motorcycle riding behind her. The direction of this scene is excellent. Here, she waves with her palm visible. When she waves to citizens as a princess, she does not show her palm. Although she is not a member of the British royal family, this gesture seems to be influenced by British tradition, as British royals often wave without showing their palms. The way she waves in this scene is different from how she does so in front of citizens. This suggests that in this moment she is enjoying the freedom of not being a royal. When she gets out of the truck, the sleeping drug starts to take effect. She falls asleep on the street, where she is found by the other main character, Joe Bradley, an American reporter played by Gregory Peck. This is how they meet. Bradley initially tries to pass the responsibility of taking care of her onto a taxi driver, but the driver refuses. Left with no choice, he takes her to his apartment. At first, he seems cold-hearted. However, a truly bad man would have taken advantage of an unconscious, attractive young woman. This scene skillfully establishes that he is not a bad person. At this point, he does not yet know who she is. Half asleep, she asks him, "Would you help me get undressed?" This implies that she is accustomed to having someone assist her with undressing. Although she is a royal, this behavior is not that of a mature adult. It suggests that she has yet to fully grow up. The scene is unusual as it portrays a young girl spending the night at the home of a man she has just met. The next morning, Bradley is late for work at the news agency. There, he realizes that the girl he brought home is the princess. He decides to get an exclusive scoop on her. Princess Anne leaves Bradley's apartment but wants to enjoy the outside world a little longer. She goes shopping and gets her long hair cut at a beauty salon. In many stories, a woman letting down her tied-up hair symbolizes personal liberation. In this film, cutting her hair represents her desire for freedom and her transformation into a new version of herself. Bradley sees her again and pretends it is a coincidence. He then takes her all around Rome. Though his initial intention is to get a scoop, he gradually grows attached to her. After the famous Mouth of Truth scene, Bradley takes her to the wishing wall. Although often overlooked, this scene is arguably the most important in the film. Bradley explains that a man who survived the war with his 4 children wrote words of gratitude on the wall, and many others have done the same. He then asks Sam, "Make a wish?" to which she replies, "Anyway, the chances of it being granted are very slight." She then suggests they attend a party on a boat and says, "And at midnight I'll turn into a pumpkin and drive away in my glass slipper." This line expresses her resolution to return to the world she belongs to. After the chaotic events at the boat party, the princess parts ways with Bradley and returns to the embassy. By then, she is no longer the same person she was the day before. Her expression has changed. She now carries a sense of determination to fulfill her responsibilities. This transformation is also reflected in her words and actions. When the Countess offers her milk and crackers as usual, Anne refuses them. She does not explicitly say, "I'm not a child anymore," but this is effectively conveyed through the scene's direction. She then tells the Countess, "That will be all. Thank you, Countess." Until the day before, the Countess had always put her to bed. But now, Anne no longer needs her assistance. The next morning, the princess appears before the media and says, "I have every faith. as I have faith in the relations between people. At the beginning of the film, the princess is informed of her schedule, which includes a visit to the foundling home for orphans. Roman Holiday was made in 1953, only 8 years after the end of World War II. The setting of the film, Rome, is significant. Italy was one of the countries that lost the war, and the devastation was severe. Most of the orphans in the home she was supposed to visit were likely children who had lost their parents in the war. She is reminded of this reality when she visits the wishing wall. Although this scene is crucial, few people seem to recall it. Notably, it is even omitted from the plot summary on Wikipedia. As you know, 2 world wars have occurred in modern history. After World War II, the United Nations was established. It is an organization in which the permanent members are the victors of the war. The UN was founded to prevent future wars. Yet when conflicts arise among its permanent members, the organization is often unable to act. This has contributed to the current global situation. To prevent further wars in Europe, the idea of European unity emerged. During the time Roman Holiday was being made, the European Coal and Steel Community, ECSC, was founded. This later evolved into the European Communities in 1967 and eventually became the European Union in 1993. One of the key causes of World War II was economic disparity among European nations. After the Great Depression, the global economy became fragmented into economic blocs, ushering in an era of protectionism. The gap between countries with colonies and those without widened. The economic struggle was a major factor behind Germany's military expansion. To prevent history from repeating itself, European countries sought to stabilize their economies by promoting trade and expanding economic cooperation. This vision laid the foundation for today's EU. This is why Princess Anne is repeatedly instructed to say the words trade relations like a mantra. At first, she grows tired of it, not realizing its significance. However, by the end of the film, after her experiences during the holiday, she fully understands her role. Roman Holiday is often labeled a romantic comedy, and that is not incorrect. Themes such as freedom versus duty, love and sacrifice, and fantasy versus reality used to describe its message. Princess Anne must fulfill her obligations as a royal, and Joe Bradley must accept this reality. However, I would describe it differently. This film is a story about calling. It is not that Princess Anne reluctantly accepted her duty or gave up on acquiring freedom. Instead, she proactively discovered her mission and resolved to face it. Her decision is not simply an act of duty, sacrifice, or accepting reality. Passive notions that fail to capture the depths of her transformation. A calling is a strong personal will to pursue a purpose. It involves recognizing the significance of a role and having the determination to actively strive toward it. Princess Anne did not return to her royal life simply because she had no other choice or because it was her fate. Rather, she made a conscious realization of her mission. Considering the identity of the film's true author, it is reasonable to interpret Roman Holiday as containing political ideology. The screenwriter credited in the film is Ian McLellan Hunter, who won the Academy Award for Best Story for this work. However, the actual writer of the story was Dalton Trumbo. Trumbo was known for writing politically charged works such as Executive Action and Johnny Got His Gun. In 1943, he joined the Communist Party, which later made him a target during the Red Scare. As a member of the party and an outspoken critic of McCarthyism, Trumbo was summoned to testify before Congress. When he refused to cooperate, he was sentenced to 11 months in prison. Following his release, he was blacklisted and unable to work openly as a screenwriter for over a decade. Trumbo remained blacklisted until 1960, when his name was officially credited in Spartacus and Exodus. Until then, he had to write under the name of other individuals. It was not until 1993 that the Academy Awards Selection Committee officially recognized Trumbo as the original writer of Roman Holiday. Viewing Roman Holiday merely as a light-hearted comedy is an oversimplification. When considering Trumbo's life and body of work, deeper themes naturally emerge. The story should be seen as Princess Anne's journey of rediscovering her mission through her experiences during the holiday. The title of this video is Roman Holiday and The Equalizer. These two films actually portray a similar theme. The protagonist of The Equalizer is Robert McCall, played by Denzel Washington. McCall is a retired Marine and former DIA officer. Now he works at a home improvement store, leading a quiet, ordinary life, trusted by those around him. However, his life takes a turn when he meets Terry, a young prostitute played by Chloe Grace Moretz. Their encounter leads McCall into a battle against the Russian mafia. After eliminating the criminals, he resolves to use his skills to help those in need around the world. At the beginning of The Equalizer, the following quote is displayed. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. The central theme of The Equalizer is calling. The journey of McCall discovering his purpose in life. Many stories explore the theme of calling. For example, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and Wanted follow this theme. Luke Skywalker in Star Wars initially feels frustrated with his life as a simple farmer. However, after being drawn into an unexpected adventure, he discovers his destiny as a Jedi. Similarly, Wesley Gibson in Wanted is stuck in a mundane office job, feeling powerless, until he learns of his true origins and embraces his mission as an assassin. Many stories about calling involve protagonists taking a completely different path from the one they were originally following. However, Roman Holiday and the Equalizer share a unique perspective. Both protagonists rediscover the significance of their existing roles rather than abandoning them. Both Princess Anne and McCall possess exceptional qualities for their respective roles. Anne is a princess, beautiful and beloved by the people, but she initially fails to recognize the true weight and power of her position. This is understandable, as she is young. On the other hand, McCall, with his extensive career and experience, should have realized his mission much earlier. Some people recognize their calling, while others do not. Those dissatisfied with their current jobs may seek out a new mission, while others, even if content in their roles, may still discover a deeper purpose. If you pursue something that does not naturally extend from what you currently do, that is a calling. But a calling can also be when you rediscover the meaning of what you are already doing. This is the essence of Rama Holiday and the Equalizer. The Hurt Locker also follows this theme. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up.